And here we are back at it once again, Facebook Live, making magic happen and making everybody's happiness on Tuesday. That's what we do. We bring joy to people's lives on Tuesday. So thank you all for joining. I want to introduce everybody, but for a second, let's just take a minute. We want to thank and honor Michaelangelo for his appearance today. For sure, he had a long, grueling day at school. This is a powerful young leader. He's going to be an inspiration to so many folks. For everybody that's tuning in, thank you for taking the time to join us today. Before we start out, I want to start out with a powerful quote. A life spent making mistakes is not only more honorable, but more useful than a life spent doing nothing. And that's by George Bernard Shaw. And with that, I come to a place where I encourage y'all to just have function from a place of compassion and understand that people make mistakes. Just because they make mistakes doesn't mean that that's the definition of who they are. And so as we move forward, we're going to hear an amazing story. And he has blessed us with an opportunity to become part of his family. And so we're grateful to have him. So I'm Nikki Martinez. I'm here with Youth Empowerment. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Youth Empowerment. I'm also the mentor for our youth, and I'm also the case manager for our adult returning population, and working with them returning citizens that are coming home. And with that, I will pass it on to the big boss man, Arthur Soriano, who is the co-founder or the founder and the chief executive officer of Youth Empowerment. Arthur?
Thank you, Nikki. An honor and a privilege. Thrilled to have Michael here today. The last week, we've been busy. We have some videos, professional cameras coming in. We invested into some podcasts. We invested into a new office space, which is next door. After completion of the space, we'll let the community see what we're putting together. But the beauty of all these webinars have been the communication with the families, the inspirations, individuals coming to our offices, giving us gift cards, Starbucks cards of appreciation, being inspired, being in a place of hope, all these narratives from trauma, healing, and resilience. There has been families connecting and being inspired by the narratives that being expressed. Not only have they been inspired, I personally have been educating myself and learning from different individuals, because this is a continuous process. This is a continuous process of healing, of being present and connecting with the community. So these narratives could inspire you for your own healing. And you could get out what you want to get out of these narratives, and also be inspired to create a movement in your own community. This ain't the Arthur Nikki show or Youth Empowerment show. It's a collaborative show, right? That we want to see individuals with shared lived experience being at the table so they could express themselves and we could learn together in this process of hope. And we're instilling hope and inspiration into the individuals, youth, families, and communities. So Mr. Michael here is definitely inspiration after completion of the program in record time. And I'm gonna let him share more of his narratives, but one of the things that I wanna share when he came to the office with his mother, a precious lady, when she came, one of the things that really stood out to me was that when Michael was in the 5th grade, he won the presidency, right? Out of 150 kids. So out of all the votes, only 3 did not vote for him. That's a powerful statement. Like only 3 out of 100 or 150 students didn't vote. So that tells you he got the swag, the charisma, the leadership to connect, build relationships, presidency, build movement. That's just him. He has that natural talent. And I was able to see that manifest in the last few weeks and just build relationships personally with Michael and have conversations with him and him coming to the office. And so that's who he is. We're just a support system to help support him achieve the goals that he wants to achieve. So, Michael, can you give us a quick introduction of who you are, and then after your introduction, I want you to take us back into your little bit of your history, any traumatic cycles of violence that you've been a part of, and anything that you feel free that you want to share. Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Arthur, very much. My name is Michael. I'm 16 years old. I'll be 17 September. I currently attend Torrey Pines High School, where I have an AB average. So I'm doing well in school. And a little more about myself is that I'm outgoing and I'm really responsible, man. I got 2 jobs right now. I'm doing real good and I'm very proud of myself. So yeah, but let's take it back into a little more of my past history. I am a former gang member. And part of that life was I was like a foot soldier. I did what was told to me. I always knew how to do my job when I was told to do it. It was like one of those things where if I was told to do it, like I had to do it regardless. Like it wasn't an option for me. So there's many things I had to do while living that type of lifestyle. And a lot of it caused me, like Arthur was saying, traumatic cycles of violence that was implemented a lot.
You, you, you're on the mute.
You muted yourself.
Oh,
Okay,
where did I
you're
leave
good.
off?
Okay, you're good. The traumatic cycle of violence and foot shoulder and being told what to do, like that's where you
Yeah.
left off. Okay.
So like that type of lifestyle implements the traumatic cycle of violence because I would commit one crime and that crime would cause me to be either like incredibly nervous, breaking down, like freaking out that I'm going to get caught and sent to jail, which was never is a fun idea. But that would put me in another state of mind where I feel the need to go out and retaliate or self-medicate myself, which I ended up self-medicating. And I started doing a bunch of drugs like shrooms, acid. I was popping pills. I was smoking a lot of weed. I even did coke. Like I was in a bad state of mind. So I was starting to self-medicate. And after self-medicating, that caused me to get like very depressed. Like I was really messed up because I let drugs control my emotions and my brain for me. So I didn't really have a way to like cope without them. And soon after that, because I didn't have a way to cope, one of my close friends was killed. And he was killed by about 4 men at like 12 a.m. in the morning. So because he was due to his killing, I went with a bunch of people and we decided to go find his killer. And we all beat him up very viciously. And due to that situation, I soon became afraid for my life that someone would come and find me. They would kill me because I attacked one of their members or like that. They'd break into my house and like threaten my family. So I decided to buy a Glock 17, which I soon became attached to. I no longer like felt that I was not safe because I had it on me. I would keep it when I was like walking through my house. I'd have it when I was just walking down the street, going next door, just simple things. Cause I felt like if I'm not like with it, there's something that could happen to me. But due to that, I ended up being more scared that I was walking around with a gun and that I'd be caught with the gun, which was also a huge fear in my mind because I was used to walking around with things like drugs and knives, buy new concealed weapon charges, or like the real deal. You don't want one of those on your record. But that eventually led up to me robbing a child, which ended up putting me in jail, where I spent a month and like couple weeks incarcerated at Kearney Mesa Juvenile Hall, where it was just horrible in there. Like you would get beaten by inmates, you would be starved by the facility in general. It wasn't clean. You had to sleep on a cement block. Just all this stuff it was just awful. And it was honestly one of the worst experiences of my life. I mean, I could say that with absolute confidence because it's horrible in there. Like I was able to go to the bathroom for 5 days due to how bad the food's in there. And like we're kids. Like they pepper spray us. They drop us on our heads. Like they're not nice. So due to that, I was released with a lot of PTSD. I was soon unable to even function in like the actual world. Like I was too afraid to leave my room because I wasn't told I was able to. I wasn't told I was allowed to leave my room because I used to be locked in a cell. Like I couldn't go in cars because I started having panic attacks because all those people around you going so fast, it does not feel right. So soon my sister began to notice that there's some things wrong with me. We started talking more. They've been like helping me, advising me through things. And that's when my PO recommended that the youth empowerment program would be very useful to me. So I decided I'd join. So I joined the youth empowerment program, and soon, at first, I will be honest, I wasn't easy about it because it was a program that my probation officer, who I had no idea who she was recommending me for, which I didn't really get it. I didn't really get the whole point, but I met one of the mentors, and I immediately knew that due to these people with their similar situations to I had when I was growing up, and like I had in my past like history, like I knew I was going to be able to talk to them and really figure out what's going on in my life, because they were able to help me with so many things, like my anger, my stress. Currently, they're helping me with my frustration. I've graduated the program. I've been out for about a month now, and I'm still like enrolled in classes because I'm not done. I'm not done learning things yet. Like I still need a lot of help, and they're able to give me all the help that I need, which I just very much appreciate so much, because without this, like my life would have gone back to the exact same thing. I would have been sneaking out again. I would have been doing a whole bunch of bad stuff, and it would have been really bad. And I just couldn't like do that to myself. So I'm glad that they've been able to help me like not do that. But also, besides the youth empowerment program, I have been able to grow as a character so much, I feel, recently, because when I got out, I felt like I was a whole different person. I didn't know who I was. I thought I was just some stranger, like even to myself. Like I would look in the mirror and just not even recognize my own face. So like because of that, I had to refigure out who I was. And that means I had to regrow myself as a person. So I started just deciding to go through my court orders. I figured if I have all my court orders done early, I'd be done. I'd be pretty close to being done, and I'd have a lot known about myself. So I mean, started with community service. I became really good friends with some people that do community service, and I was able to help a lot of people less fortunate than me. And I thought that was amazing, and that just made me so caring for other people. And then like I had to write a letter to the victim I did, and it kind of showed me like what remorse was, because I've never really showed remorse to a situation I've done, but youth empowerment has helped me to open that part of myself, which is like I put so much remorse into my letter. The judge loved my letter, and he decided to let me off probation due to my good behavior, that I got all my court orders done. It's a week yesterday was my full week off probation, my first one. So we're going strong. Everything's going great, fantastic. And I'm just so proud to say that youth empowerment has led me up to this point, and they have really, really pushed me, because like you can grow as an individual and you can think you grow as an individual, but if you don't have anybody with you, I feel like it's a team process. You have to have a supporting family around you to be like, you can make it that extra mile, because who's going to push yourself? Like I know I wouldn't have pushed myself. Like I would have done it. Have people telling me I could. Like for the first time in my life, people said that I was capable of doing the thing. I thought that was going to be the most difficult thing I've ever done. So it went extremely well. And that's all thanks to youth empowerment and just doing programs with them. Like they had some county officials show up to a meeting one time. And like,
hey, Michael, like I know you keep on throwing out youth empowerment program, but really it's you, bro. Like we're just like, you know, little side support system to you, but ultimately you have to make a choice from within of where you're at, where you want to go, what direction, how you're going to do it, how you're going to plan, and how you're going to get there. So like it's you, because your amazing talents that you have already, and now they're beginning to flourish. You got to a point where, you know what, you got tired. Like all the system-induced trauma that you talked about, you were finally able to identify it and like, okay, this is what's happening. I'm gonna heal from it, and I'm gonna become resilient. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, explain that meeting.
Yeah, but it was my second week. I just enrolled in the program. and they said there's this meeting that we could attend to. It wasn't mandatory. It was just some county officials, and we were just going to talk and just discuss things about the county. So I said, you know what, that sounds fun. I don't have anything else to do besides just kind of sit there. So I decided to join, and I ended up being the only person out of all the mentees to join. And that was pretty cool because it was just me one-on-one with like a bunch of county officials and like a whole youth empowerment program, which I just thought was awesome. So I was able to give a lot of my thought and input about what I think is not working with the county, like with the youth that participate in like the county, what I think can be changed about like the way the county handles youth. I was just able to give them so much point of view, I feel like, because that's what they wanted. They wanted point of view from a youth in San Diego County to show them what's not working for them, which I thought was great because I know what didn't work for me at all. And I thought there was no youth programs. There's nothing for youth that youth can actually do because a lot of kids may not be into sports. And like most people I know, they're not into sports. Like they'd rather sit back and they'd rather like smoke weed or something. And like if they're in a youth program, like it helps them. One, they don't have like time to go out and do things like that. They have a good time, a place they can make friends, and a place to do all this stuff. And if I had that, that would have been awesome. That would have been so cool. So I feel like that would have been a great idea. And they ended up really liking my idea. They really liked myself, how I presented myself. They liked like the way I talked, the way I looked. And they said, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take your job, take your offer, and we're going to turn it into an actual job, where they asked me to apply. And I was accepted for this job about a month ago. And I've currently finished all my paperwork to be hired. I got my work permit. I got all my school forms, everything signed, and it's all sent in. And I start training about next week.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing the training program for about a month. And then after that, we're working and we're getting into it.
That's so dope.
And Michael, like, look, like, and it was mentioned that your voice, along with the other voice of other youths, they were right there writing notes, right? Everything that you were saying. Okay,
Yeah.
They were paying attention to your voice of what that was, and we're talking in specific public health right here, right? And
Yeah.
so they took this plan out of all your guys' voices, and they put this leadership academy that needed to be funded. Your voice was the lived experience along with other youth leaders. So they took it to the county board of supervisors. There was actual meeting with the county board of supervisors, and all your guys' voices were put together and it was brought up to them. So the county board of supervisors had a decision where they were going to accept this and put the money to support this or not. And it could have been either way, yes or no. There's no in between of maybes. So they accepted it. And months into it, then they started the interview process. So you see how powerful your voice could be when you're present and you hold systems accountable and what you were going through and what works, what doesn't during COVID-19, what was happening. So I really wanted to say how much your voice was elevated and the situation you're in. Nikki, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, so the thing that I wanted to say is because Michaelangelo, you are a powerful and a prime example of what leadership looks like. And the thing is like, it's like we always say, when we're immersed in that lifestyle and we're going hard and we're being all we can be for all of the negative, and then we transform and we go on to the other side and we go in hard and we be all we can be. I tell the youth all the time, like, you're either a leader or a follower. What do you want to do? Right? It's either one or the other. Like Boss just said right now, there's no in between. It's either a yes or a no, a leader or a follower. It's one or the other. And a lot of times we have so many strong young leaders in our community that have the capacity to be so much more than what it is that they allow themselves credit to be, right? A lot of times we're raised in these environments where we allow ourselves to settle. And unfortunately, it doesn't allow us to cultivate that true leadership ability and quality because we're not getting the right affirmations. We're not getting the affirmations that we need from the right people doing the right thing, right? And with this, what you've just shown is just, like you said, I was the only one that showed up that day. I showed up and I just threw my opinion out there. And it's like I was saying a couple of weeks ago, if you don't have a seat at the table, you better bring your folding chair and sit down and have a conversation. Why? Because your voice matters. There's so many, I mean, geniuses out there with so many different great ideas, and they don't have the right person just nudging them along the way and saying, you got this. Like, your voice matters. We are their voices. We have the ability to speak out and make change happen, and ultimately tear down and transform a system that you were talking about in the very beginning, that just created so much harm and trauma for you, that when you left there, you're aware at your age that you have PTSD. That in it and of itself is mind-blowing. I work with people that are formerly incarcerated and that have been impacted by the system and have experienced so much trauma, and they are completely ignorant as bliss to the fact that they have PTSD. So the fact that you're already having that awareness of how it is that it's affected your nervous system, you're already doing what you can to be sitting at tables that can implement change and policy and structure for a community that can cultivate healing and something healthy. That's huge, man. So I just want to give a shout out to you. And I think the thing is I want everybody that's watching, and all of the young leaders that we have out there that have the capacity and maybe don't even realize it, like, just give yourself a chance, because he gave himself a chance. Michaelangelo gave himself a chance, and he flew to the top in less than 6 months. He's like, I'll shut it down. I'll show you, Dago, what's up. And that's exactly what he did. He showed Dago what is up, and he got people creating job positions. He's got people creating programs. Like, there are so many of our youth that are out there that have those abilities too. But definitely thank you, Michaelangelo, for being so brave, for sharing what you shared, just acknowledging your trauma, for acknowledging your struggle, for acknowledging your growth, and then being able to be so courageous and confident enough to be able to praise yourself, because that's a beautiful quality to have, bro. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, boss, go ahead.
No, yeah. Chime in whenever chiming in needs to chime in. Like, we just did a regional diversity summit with private schools, Francis Parker, La Jolla. There was 250 to 350 individuals there. The students put this regional diversity summit together, and then they called on youth empowerment to have a workshop with racial equity through a trauma-informed lens. So, the first person that we thought about was Michael. So when we start putting the workshop together, guess what? He just took over himself. We just laid back and spoke on what it means to racial equity through a trauma-informed lens, transforming systems. And so how did that feel for you, man? Like, being at the table there and speaking to all these kids?
Man, that was honestly really cool because, one, like, I know how this generation is that I'm growing up with. This is the generation that's trying to take action, that is more aware, that's more knowing that things are happening around them that soon will not be able to change. And they want to take action and they want to get this done fast. And it was just great to see all these kids like there that were like my age, younger, older, all just like so invested in what we were trying to say. Like, about everyone I looked at was taking notes. Just taking notes. I don't think anyone missed a single word I said. This one kid even showed up in a suit and tie. And he was in his house at his kitchen table. Like, if that's not dedication, I don't know what is. Like, that was it just shows me that, like, people really care about our community and they really want to make it better.
Yeah.
But speaking of way to help make our community better, on Arthur Serrano's Facebook page, we have what we call a birthday fundraiser. Funds, they're not for us. Trust, they're not for us. We're not taking your guys' money, but they are for our youth mentees, our just freshly released adult mentees, and our parent mentees. So if you guys could please just sprinkle a little money into that little jar, that'd be great. Arthur's Facebook page, Arthur Serrano. I'll put it in the chat for you guys.
Tell me he ain't a leader. Tell me this boy ain't moving nations right here. This gentleman is moving nations.
Thank you for the shout out. And that's just a birthday fundraiser. It's on the page. It's on my personal page, but that's strictly going to go to our participants because the need is there. And I donated $100 myself. So I just want my people, man, to. I don't like telling everybody no. If they come through the office and they're hungry, we're gonna go eat, man. I don't care what budget, a line item, or whatever. Like, we're gonna go eat. Like we need to break bread, and we need to have there's certain program and budget line items that just fit a specific need. But the need of the community that we're connected with is sky high. And we get 20 to 20, 20, 25, 30 times a week, people are getting at our staff members that we need this help for this individual. Can you help this, and that? And that's just a reality. So, but thank you for the shout out, Michael. Where does Michael, what has Michael learned these last 6 months? And where does Michael want to go? Like, what's your dream, bro? Where do you want to get, man? Like, think big too, man, because you have the great talent. Now you got to put it to work. So, what have you learned, and where does Michael want to go?
Well, I've learned that myself as an individual has a purpose. That every individual has a purpose, because you look at most people, you don't know what their purpose is. Obviously, you can't look at someone and be like, I know your purpose, unless you've seen them demonstrate it without them even knowing. But they've been able to point out that I have a purpose in life, and they've helped me point it out to myself. I didn't have to be like, yo, look, you got something here. They're like, hey, just kind of peek around the corner. Like they helped me get to that point in mind. So I was able to learn like how to value myself, how to respect myself, how to teach myself to respect others and other things and people's property, and like not to go out and just randomly punch someone in the face, and just to like chill with my anger, and like how to get rid of it in a good way though, like how to not bunch it in, and I can actually release my anger without having to hurt somebody. So like I've learned a lot of physical and mental things, I feel, from youth empowerment in the last 6 months. And I plan on using these experiences to take me all the way to the top, because I plan on going to college. I'm thinking of going to Cal State San Marcos up here in North County. And I want to get my business degree, and I want to minor in politics, because due to this job I have with the county of San Diego, I feel like if I take this far enough, I could get really, really far, really far. And that would be great to minor in politics just for that purpose, you know? Because why not?
It's not I can get really far. It's I will get really far. You will get really far. There's not no doubt. There's no room in your breath and in your being for any room for doubt at all whatsoever. It's just not, it's not in your being. It's not in your makeup. It's not in your nature, and it's in the minute that doubt comes in. The good thing is that you have the supportive team and the supportive network, that is right here reminding you of how invaluable you are. You're extremely invaluable. You're priceless, Michaelangelo. And it's like, what it is that you're capable of doing is limitless. People always say the sky is the limit. Well, that's because we put that limit there, the sky. No, what we can do is limitless. You know what I mean? And there is no limit to anything that you can do. And there's no limit to what it is that you can have, to what it is that you can achieve. And the fact that you're already sitting there at that age, already planning things out and knowing where it is that you have potential to go, but your growth is going to be endless, and the opportunities that are going to come your way, because they're just endless. It's endless.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm excited to see you tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, Thursday, right?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, because man, I asked you a question and you like, this, that. Like, I was like, do you have experience in putting videos together? Yes. Do you have experience in Instagram? Yes. Do you have experience in speaking? Yes. Do you have experience in podcast? I'm a perfect dynamic speaker, right? That's my favorite word of the week, dynamic. Nikki had to call me on that, dynamic. So I'm really excited of connecting with you, and the Youth Leadership Academy. I'm going to be doing a training there. I just received the email right now for the Trauma Informed Code of Conduct on a Tuesday. So we're going to bring that training to you and all the other Youth Leadership Academy. But I'm going to have a call to action for you guys too, because when we put that Trauma Informed Code of Conduct, it seems like we just put it together and that was it. But now we need to have organizations, systems of care, county board of supervisors. They need to adopt that
Yes.
as a policy and a procedure. So when they connect with our individuals, youth, and families, they feel safe. It's effective communication, right? Individualized support. So definitely excited to bring that training to you guys and work with you guys so we could do everything in our power to build a healthy community. And youth leadership is huge. And for you to be involved in the justice system and, you know, go through all the trials and tribulation that you've went through, to now be a youth leader representing that, because us as mentors, you know, we connect with our mentees, we have that connections, and sometimes we can just say so much, right? But the peer-to-peer support, the youth to the youth, the real life conversations and current experiences, I believe is way more effective. So really, really looking forward to that. I'm really excited about your growth, your direction, and you're gonna achieve politics, business, and some. You're gonna be in a position of greatness, brother. So
Yeah, and the one thing I want to say too is because I've had the privilege of being able to sit in safe spaces with you, Michaelangelo, and it's like it is that peer-to-peer mentorship, and I don't care if I'm 172 years old. Like you've deposited good stuff in me. You've mentored me in different conversations that we've had, and just your insight, just like how you said it earlier, you know, your capability for remorse and your level of understanding on the impact of others and the empathy and your willingness. And that's what it is. It all comes down to your willingness to just be vulnerable, to get insightful, to share what your truth is without any fear. And that fearlessness is just so empowering. And so I say that to say, like, you know, we at Youth Empowerment, yes, we have the we have mentor positions, right? But a lot of times we are learning so much from the folks that we're mentoring. It's like a reciprocal relationship, and it's like we're constantly nurturing each other and reminding ourselves this is what we've gone through and this is how we healed. And it's through those life experiences, and it's through those such dynamic, Arthur's word, dynamic conversations and those amazing connections, I think that just swells us up. It's like it's what gets on in our heart. It makes it pump even faster and harder, and it brings us closer and closer and closer together. And so I just really, really want to thank you, because really, in all actuality, you've mentored us. Like, you've deposited great things into us, and what you've given to us has been, it's been amazing. So thank you for spending this portion of your life with us, and thank you for allowing us to still be a part of your life and still coming to us for support. It's phenomenal, and we're just grateful. We're so grateful to have you.
yeah, no, thank you so much. And what's your message, Michael? Like, what's your message to the youth? What's your message to leadership? And what's your message to the community? 3. So
My
let's
message
start off.
to you:
Go ahead.
when you're at rock bottom, there's only one way to go: up. Those situations won't last forever, man. Life sucks. It's hard sometimes, but there's a lot of good moments too. And those good moments, when they're good, you can bet that they're fantastic. So just keep looking up. And for my community, I say just keep being yourself, San Diego. You got some work to do, but everyone can improve. So that's how it is. What's the third one?
To the leaders in the community.
To the leaders, we got some work to do. We got some work to do.
Excellent. So Nikki, you take it away. Check us out.
Yeah, for sure. So again, thank you everybody that's watching. Thank you for your continuous and endless support. We have a YouTube page now. Like our YouTube page, definitely give us a big fat thumbs up. We'll take 2 if you want to give us 2. If you want to share it, please share this amazing conversation with people. We know that it could be extremely impactful. So we just ask that you support us in sharing that. Also too, like Michaelangelo said, we're accepting donations. So if you want to do a contribute and celebrate Arthur's life for all his time and investment into youth empowerment and being a pillar for the community and continuously and endlessly giving back to the community, you also can do that. And with that being said, oh my gosh, that's our callback, just so you all know. So when you see us doing it, that's what we're doing. We're calling us back. That's what community is all about. Holla back, youngin. That's what we do. But we definitely want to thank you. And with that, we'll do a one-word checkout. And I'm feeling overwhelmed with joy. Michaelangelo, how you feeling?
I'm feeling excited, guys. How you feeling, Arthur?
I'm feeling like I need my throat back. I feel peace and joy. I really feel peace and joy.
So everybody watching, if you want to chime in and give us how you're feeling and how this has empowered you or impacted you, any suggestions that you might have, any love that you want to send back to us, by all means, we're right here with open arms. We're over here in City Heights. Definitely come visit us. We're here. Our door is always open. You need something, we got you. And like Arthur said, man, we don't know how to turn anybody away. So that's what we do here. So on that note, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We're signing out on this Facebook Live. Do something good for yourselves today. Value yourselves and know that you're worthy. Know that you deserve the best and don't ever settle.